On the reissue of First Minute of a New Day, Gil Scott-Heron does a spit that's Richard Pryor worthy. It's coming out of a poem on the European writers of Black history, reminding us that it was his story, not ours. And then he goes on to tell us that he's begun to question with whom he identifies in all stories. For instance, in the movie Jaws, he says, "I was with the shark. They came into the water where sharks are known to be. It was the shark's domain. Now I'd be with them if the shark came into a bank." This transmutes into a discussion of how black people can't be in horror movies because we're too sensible. We hear Jaws coming with his band. And we just get out of the water and a movie. The day I met Gil Scott-Heron, he did not have his band. I looked from books on a street vendor's blanket, and there he was, passing down the road. Not a man in good shape, but it was Gil Scott-Heron, a hero of mine. I didn't know what to say. I said hello, maybe something like, "I love what you do," or "Your music meant so much to me growing up." I remember him saying thanks. I think we shook hands because I could feel the years of difficult times in that handshake. The pronounced veins, the bristles of sparse hair. I felt a man who was tired, and understandably so. I had a sensation of touching flesh, making contact with a man whom I felt was there from the start. He was one of those light-skinned brothers along with Keith Jarrett that my chocolate father told me I resembled. Dad was trying to connect me to my heritage in Irvine, where he was about the only black man I saw. Turns out Keith Jarrett is Hungarian and Scottish, but anyway. I had seen Gil in person once before, about a decade earlier in London. It was a crazy few weeks where both Gil and Nina Simone had concerts. These are my African-American heroes, and I'm seeing them both for the first time across an ocean in a place where they're much more universally revered. Nina was a goddess. They treated her like a rock star or a queen, and she turned songs I'd known all my life into new, more profound experiences. Gil was not as present. His piano playing was sloppy, he seemed a little distant. Still, to hear that voice in the same room as I was grounded me. It made me feel closer to my father and the tradition he wished for me to be grounded within. Gil felt like a brother. He also puzzled me. Probably one of his first songs that I consciously remember is Angel Dust. I was just 13 and I wondered why he was talking about such an uncool drug. I was smoking pot, playing Page and Hendrix riffs. And Angel Dust was some stupid aggro drug I just couldn't get behind, nor this sexy song, even if it was a warning. Maybe that's what was going on with Gil. He was being seduced by the things he was condemning. Doing research for this tribute, I started noticing the word new kept coming up. His album titles, A New Black Poet, Small Talk on 125th and Lenox. The First Minute of a New Day, and up through his last album, I'm New Here. Of course, we saw the themes of transformation, black people being in the street looking for a brighter day. And I could see the hope that never died in him. He almost gleefully reinvents himself. In concert videos or interviews, his smile keeps coming as he tells hard truths. He shows joy in making the connections that are going to show us a way out of this mess, painting accurate pictures of what we're up against. He breaks down his own struggles as a guide for us. He becomes a Moses-like figure, showing us a promised land that he may never reach. When he was doing promo for his last album, he told a Spanish journalist a couple things that really struck me. One, he said, "We don't know how we look until we see ourselves reflected in the smile of others. When you play a song for them, when you give them an idea that they can go do something with." He goes on to say, "These are gifts that you've been given, and you're not supposed to keep them to yourself. You're supposed to share them." The interviewer then asks him if he feels older and wiser now that he's out of prison. I feel older, younger, he said. I was an old person, but I'm another person now. Because you have chances to remake yourself. In times of silence, in times of quiet, in times of real introspection, you have time to change. And in many ways, what I believe has changed. I believe now that if you stand up and you do something, you can become something. And so I do this. And so it is. Siding on a hollow street, I turn my head and chance to meet the one. Feeling short of words to say, I shook his hand, he walked away so long. So long to be recreating every day, new beginnings, when do we arrive? At that new day, or is it here? Or is it here? I align myself with you, your spirit's joy, your cold hard truths, come on. You taught us how to fight the system, knowledge of our true existence, then fell to square one. So long to be here creating every day, new beginnings, when do we arrive? At that new day, or is it here? Or is it here? In times of silence, times of quiet, you have time for introspection. You have time to change. You said, I believe I'll change. If you stand up and do something, you can really become something. So this is what I do. And so it is. And so it is. The smile I see in others' faces, share a song, plant a thought, there I see myself. A gift so strong he couldn't keep, passed to us, now we weep so long. So long to be here creating, take us to that new beginning, when do we arrive? At that new day, I say it's here. I say it's here. That new day, that day is here. You can sing that. That new day, that day is here. That new day, that day is here. Come on. That new day, that day is here. That new day, that day is here. Yeah. That new day, that day is here. That new day, that new day, that day is here.